You read Atomic Habits, you read all these self-help books, you are enrolled in all these different coaches and influencers programs, you take morning routines, and every single male red pill influencer you are constantly quoting. But you can't put a finger on why it is that you feel your life is so miserable. You don't figure exactly why do I not feel proud and confident of myself. You can't seem to put a finger on it. I wonder why.
Because they don't know which way to go. It's because there are way too many places to go.
If you don't even watch this entire video, one thing to take away from this, don't be like this freaking loser. Because guess what? In one point in my life, in my early 20s, I was this person. You see, growing up when I was around 8 or 9 years old, I moved around quite a bit. I wasn't able to fit in, and since I hopped around a lot, I always felt like I was this black sheep, this kid that tried so hard to fit in because one, it was for survival at the time, and two, when you're 8 and 9 years old with not really any sort of white parenting styles, you kind of go around feeling lost and confused. And as your hormones hit, puberty comes, your attraction to the opposite sex or whoever you're into kicks into action. So now you're going around with this mindset of, hey, I don't feel like I fit in. How can I put myself in the best position possible so I can get a girl's approval? Hand hug. And that's when I, as the Asian brother, fell into that self-improvement trap. You start reading all your books, like, hey, you want to learn about money? You should read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This guy's a little controversial, you know? Maybe you should read some Tony Robbins, you know? Awaken the Giant with, oh wait, how about How to Win Friends and Influence People?
See? You're talking to a white girl right now.
I know, right? I'm so scared.
I'm all for improving who you are as a person, learning to actually grow and get more knowledge.
And that's aimlessness, is like every direction beckons. That's way too complicated, and your brain literally signals that with anxiety.
But what is happening is when you yourself have 800,000 people comment on a 30-second TikTok of yours, all of the comments and the suggestions are pretty much the same. It goes along the lines of, hey, start working out more. Move on, you little wussy. What are you complaining about?
Turned 30 years old a couple months ago,
and when you do not have a set of clear minds and values and principles that you fly by, you are very easily lost in the sauce, doing and listening to whatever person and every single person is actually telling you. You should read this book. You should take this class. You should watch this video. How about you should shut the fuck up and let me do what it is that I want to do?
Write it down. Figure out what you could do to start moving towards that. Okay. Do that with your family relationships. Do that with your friendships. Do that with your career.
That is the mentality that you need to have to not be a loser nowadays. Because as we're scrolling through the phone, content addiction, constantly trying to figure out, where do I stand? What is my purpose? So much, as you can see by people like Andrew Tate or all the other influencers that's popping nowadays, millions of people that are so lost trying to find the answer. Because they don't know who they are as a person, they are just looking for, hey, are you my guru? Will you show me the way? Are you my daddy? Are you my mommy? You become is a self-improvement junkie. You buy and have a collection of these books. You are 30, 40 years old, name dropping bigger influencers and their thoughts aren't even original. So you are copying a copier's point of view, where deep in turn, you ask yourself, that's cool that influencer thinks that, but Peter, what is it that you think? What is it that your values and what is it that you want in this world and what do you believe? It's a cool story, bro, that you can repeat whatever influencer that they're saying, but what is it that you believe in? Especially being Asian, it's like, hey, You should go to the gym, bro. You should get buff. You should get jacked. Oh, by the way, got a little shoulder injury, but it's coming in, not bad at all. Just a little injury, but I should be on track to bulking up a bit. But so far, I am down almost 20 pounds. That comes from my own discipline and my own will to be like, I've always been a disciplined person. Not because I listened to some podcast, not because I, didn't feel like it. I always go with, I am a hard-working mother fudger. And I will get what I want, or at least strive for it. And I've always been like that. I didn't need some book, some YouTube video to give me little sprinkles of motivation. You see me working and editing for all these influencers, you kind of realize it's all a fake spiel. All these influencers take courses from other influencers and they steal and repackage it as their own branding. So now, hey, join my $1,000, $4,000 mastermind to help you with your online business. But little do you know that they just bought another person's course to invest in that, to go through that. So they can exactly copy and replicate that for themselves, but put their name and branding on top of that. A lot of these self-help gurus and influencers, they are not philosophers. They are not saying something that is so, oh my God, mind blasting, It is just a rehash of whatever self-help book that was 20, 30 years ago. It's all the same thing again and again, just a different avatar. And once you realize this, it is okay to be like, oh, it's cool to see whatever XYZ person is doing, but I do not need to paraphrase whatever that they are saying, because I have my own thoughts. I have my own beliefs. And it is only when I go through my own logical sequential order of, hey, maybe what I've been thinking is flawed, and maybe who I am needs a little bit of tweaking, that is where I need to improve myself. But the moral of the story is that once you learn to give yourself away to girls, to guys, to jobs, to money, and you make more money, you lose that money, you realize, hey, you were always the same person. But your constant chase, that constant approval, all you're really looking for was approval from yourself.
You have to leave yourself to understand the value of yourself. You have to lose stuff before you realize that all the stuff that you're losing is ephemeral and transitory. It's not yours. You're enough. You're always enough. But you've got to somehow prostitute yourself before you realize your own value.
I guarantee you, if you go and record a TikTok and that goes viral and people are just like spewing shit about you, your first reaction is to react, to feel a certain way. Because you are looking in the comments for someone to tell you how good you already know that you are. Or maybe the opposite. But it comes from a lot of maybe being in the hospital, being heartbroken, giving yourself away to everybody who didn't really want you, to be cheated on, to be abused, to be deceived, betrayed, when in reality, a lot of the things that have happened to you weren't necessarily your fault. It's just no one taught you that it is okay to be you. I'd have lost you as I spoke these words into the universe, but it's simply this very key point that I'm going to say. When I was in my early teens and 20s, I was constantly trying to improve myself. Going to the gym, focusing on money, grinding, working 3 jobs, trying to get a girlfriend, trying to build a YouTube channel. But there was a core part of me that felt like I was never good enough, that I always had to improve so I can be on edge or have my unfair advantage to whoever it is that I was competing against. But you soon to realize that the more you try to improve yourself, it is more a signification of your own unapproval of yourself. That the more you try to improve yourself means the more insecure you actually are. Do you think someone like Elon Musk is like, hey, I need to read all these self-help books, spend hundreds and thousands of dollars on all this? Or am I just my weird, crazy millionaire self that I came from privileged parents and I'm just doing me? We don't flock to people who are just watered down versions of whatever pop-in trend is going on. I don't chase, I replace. And that's a word to BIG. That's the energy you need to have in life. You gotta command respect. You gotta command attention. And if you're constantly pondering to the opinions of sheep, then you too are also sheep. And it's something that I've been battling for the longest time now as I've been embarking on my own self-healing journey. Not this whoop, whoop, woo, wah, you gotta do productivity, you gotta make money, you gotta take all that aside. Who the fuck are you as a person, bro? Who the fuck are you? You'll be very less easily swayed. You'll be able to see through people's bullshit, smoke, and mirrors. And you will finally realize, I hope you realize that one day, that you are always enough. You are always a good human being. And no amount of money, fame, clout, materialistic things can ever give or take away that of which you already are. Because a lot of it comes from, Asian parenting. If you're just like me, you were never praised for things like you did well, doing a good job. It was always critiqued, criticism. Maybe it's your family ties where you're never ever congratulated for things, constantly just being criticized to the point where no one ever told you that, hey, you're doing a good job. And now I'm reaching 31, goddamn. You kind of realize you can give all the things that you never got as a kid. And by doing so, you heal and you break your own habits.